Luther, the falling sun, is a hot mess. Well, not entirely. It's a mixture of magnificent mediocrity, like a bland pizza with the perfect balance of toppings that are both deliciously tasty and strangely unappetizing. Here's another one for you. Marvelously meh. It's like having the most exciting yawn of your life, a mix of enthusiasm and apathy all in one. Buckle up, because we're about to deep dive into the abyss of disappointment and absurdity that this movie has to offer.
You better buckle up.
At the same time, prepare to be oddly entertained. It's like witnessing a chaotic collision of events that are captivatingly disastrous and oddly amusing at the same time. You could call it a disaster piece. From comedy of errors to disaster piece moments, we'll explore how this movie manages to captivate our attention despite its flaws. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. By doing so, you'll join our community of movie madness enthusiasts. So grab your popcorn, sit back, and get ready to enjoy the wild ride of laughter and entertainment in our side-splitting review. Once upon a time, in a reality far, far away, the Luther franchise was a hit sensation, captivating fans with its gripping storylines and stellar performances. But alas, as the seasons trudged on, the creative minds behind the show seemed to have taken a vacation to the land of unimaginative plots and repetitive story arcs. Luther, the Fallen Sun, promised to be the grand finale, wrapping up the legacy of the show in spectacular fashion. However, in this reality, promises mean nothing, and the series hasn't been able to keep fans glued since the lackluster third season. The magic was lost, and many die-hard Luther fans bid their farewells and turned their attention to more promising ventures like Stranger Things. And this isn't a statement we're proud to make. Nevertheless, as we embark on this journey through the abysmal narrative, let's not forget to give credit where it's due. Yes, the show had an impressive cast and commendable cinematography, but alas, great acting alone cannot salvage a sinking ship when the writing is as dry as the Sahara Desert and as bland as unseasoned chicken. Our disastrous journey commences with the tale of Callum Aldrich, the office cleaner, and a mysterious villain who's armed with incriminating screenshots that force poor Callum to sprint out of the office like a caffeine-addicted headless chicken. We can only guess that those screenshots contained maybe something freaky or a hint of illegal activities, or possibly both. Whatever it was, Callum's reaction would make a terrible case study for How to Handle Blackmail 101. Callum, in a panic, runs right into the hands of the villain, who kidnaps, or janitor naps him. But wait, there's hope on the horizon. DCI Luther, our shaggy-haired detective, arrives on the scene to take the case, sporting a disheveled appearance that totally gives Castaway vibes. This man has been too busy fighting crimes that he didn't have time to groom himself correctly. If that's not dedication, then I don't know what is. Anyway, Luther vows to rescue Callum and bring him back safely to his worried mother. Oh, the classic detective's promise to find a kidnap victim alive and well. Spoiler alert! Promises in this movie age like milk left in the sun on a scorching summer day. Mysteries don't stay mysteries for long in this movie, as we soon meet David Robbie, master of blackmail. Ooh, bravo writers for robbing us of any suspense or surprise factor. David Robbie is on the phone with an unknown person asking them to dig up dirt on our hero here, John Luther. But as it turns out, Luther is a master in the art of incognito mode and thus doesn't have much they can use to incriminate him, at least not anything online. No sir, John Luther deletes his naughty research history. Anyway, using his supervillain influence, he manages to get Luther arrested. Luther spent the past 5 seasons of the show carrying out extrajudicial mayhem, so it's not surprising they found charges that stuck. Fast forward a bit, and Luther ends up being the most wanted man in jail. Naturally, former super cop isn't the most popular guy in jail. Don't drop the soap, copper. But fear not, for our hero escapes in the most ridiculous prison riot where it seems half the staff is in on it. After all, logic is as far into this movie as originality is to its plot. The extent of the villain's evil is seen how he tricks Mrs. Cullum into finding her now-dead son hanging from the ceiling along with other victims, only for the bodies to be set on fire. This has got to be the most gruesome introduction to the villain since Negan from The Walking Dead turned Glenn's head into a piñata. We got to give the writers props for this one. Bravo. Now we meet Odette, the young detective with an inexplicable vendetta against Luther. Catching a notorious serial killer? Nah, she's all about nabbing Luther because priorities, right? This annoying, illogical vendetta hits its peak just when Luther is about to apprehend Robbie. Odette and her cop squad arrive, giving the villain the perfect opportunity to escape. Bravo, Odette. You just won the award for the most annoying detective of the year. I mean, my God, Ulysses Clow is on the loose. Oops, wrong movie. Anyway, speaking of redundancy, the movie introduces us to, now, Anya, Odette's daughter, who is conveniently home alone. Ah, the classic vulnerable damsel in distress. Her sole purpose in this narrative? To be kidnapped, of course. Because no movie is complete without a cliched hostage situation. Originality who? As the plot inches forward like a sloth in molasses, Luther and Odette become the most unlikely partners since Cats and Water. They manage to track down Georgette Robbie, the villain's wife, who was brutally burned by her own husband and, no surprise, was willing to tell the duo where to find him. Ah, the classic twist of domestic drama. She also helps them bait and expose Archie as a dirty cop who was helping David Robbie stay one step ahead of the police. Little did they know that Archie was caught in a web of blackmail, forced to become a mole to protect his own secrets. Surprisingly, the writers excel in crafting a layered character, making us feel sympathy for Archie despite his shady actions. We knew he was walking a dangerous line, but witnessing his downfall leaves us with an unexpected pang of sadness. It's a testament to the writer's prowess in creating complex and relatable characters. As the truth unfolds, our hearts are torn as we see Archie's desperate attempt to evade justice, leading to a tragically poignant conclusion. The unexpected emotional roller coaster grips us, leaving us contemplating the blurred lines between right and wrong and the haunting consequences of choices made under duress. With what seems to be magical teleportation, our dynamic duo, Luther and Odette, find themselves in a land of snowy wonder. One minute they were in the city, and the next, voila, they've landed smack dab in the middle of the freezing mountains. Forget about practical travel arrangements. In this movie, logic takes a backseat to cinematic convenience. Now they're in the infamous evil lair of David Robbie. You know it's the evil lair because, well, it's got the standard issue chilling atmosphere with a side of creepy frozen bodies for decoration. Clearly, evil villains have impeccable taste in interior design. And speaking of frozen bodies, among the frozen corpses is someone who looks suspiciously like Anya, the damsel in distress. But don't worry, the movie doesn't have the heart to take a risky move and actually kill off quite possibly the most irrelevant characters in the whole movie. Just when Odette thought she could celebrate dodging the lost child bullet, she gets a surprise attack from behind. And don't worry, Luther doesn't miss out on the action because he also gets attacked and strapped to a chair because Netflix is all about equal opportunities. But this part of the movie is filled with the most irrelevant dialogue you can imagine. At this point, they might as well be discussing the weather or exchanging cookie recipes because the mystery is as dead as a doornail. Not to mention the fact that we witnessed the most poorly choreographed fight scenes in movie history, which includes the final fight scene in a moving car speeding through icy mountains. It's like they took the craziest idea they could think of and just went with it. And the CGI? Well, let's just say it's not winning any awards, but it's enough to keep us watching. Barely. Finally, the car crashes into a frozen lake and we get the long-awaited death of David Robbie. And boy, was it anticlimactic. It's like the villain just went out with a whimper instead of a bang. Where's the dramatic showdown, the epic final battle? Nope, none of that. Just a meh-worthy conclusion to the villain we were supposed to fear. So there you have it, folks, an action-packed finale filled with irrelevant dialogue, poorly choreographed fights, and a villain's death that leaves you wondering, is that it? But hey, at least the CGI was tolerable, and overall the movie had a good moment or three. Now let's all take a deep breath and raise a toast to the movie that defied all logic and still managed to keep us watching. Cheers to the hilariously mediocre but surprisingly tolerable.